Okay, welcome to week 4, and it's going to be literature from here on out. We're going to do some short stories, some poems, some plays. The final exam is all literature, so make sure you're keeping up with the readings. Notice that I'm in Angel. What I'm doing is transferring everything from the syllabus into here so that it's streamlined and it's much easier for you to follow along. So if you go into lessons now, I put a folder called Weekly Lessons, and it has every week right there. The assignments page is at the bottom. So let's look at week 4. We're going to start with a video on the importance of literature because it just kind of answers why should we read literature. Then check out The Dealer of Ideas. I love this quote. We're talking about great minds, average minds, and small minds. If most of your time is spent talking about people, gossiping, then you are the small mind. You want to move up to the great mind because the great mind, the idea mind, is the one that's going to help you the most in your career. Literature would fall in the great average in that you talk about events of the story and then you might talk about some of the ideas contained within the story. Those things will both help you to elevate your thinking. Then you might be able to draw from an experience that a character is having and implement it into your own life. After this, you're going to learn to analyze literature. When you read literature, you have to look below the surface. Yeah, the words are on the page, but there's always something happening beneath that needs to be figured out, so to speak. Now, we're not going to be able to cover everything, but I have kind of condensed it and boiled it down. And you'll find that right here in the literature analysis. So if you download this, keep it handy. It's going to be our roadmap. Basically, we're going to do 3 things with each of the short stories. Summarize, look at some of the elements, and then the main characters. Now, when we summarize, we want the basics of what happens in the story. A summary is very short. It should be like a paragraph. Thematic purpose, these are the unifying ideas that kind of pull everything together. Theme can sometimes be difficult because it's a higher level thinking concept. However, we'll go through the first one together. From there, we want to look at the point of view. If it's in third person, second person, first person. You might have to look these up. From here, we look at the conflict. What is the problem? Every piece of literature has a problem that needs to be solved. Protagonist, antagonist, this is just good guy, bad guy. And this again will depend on whose point of view. Symbolism, you're going to have to look this up. I want you to understand what this word means. It is an item. It is a word. It is a phrase that means something more. We have symbols all over right now. If you look at the American flag, it symbolizes freedom. The last thing we'll do is look at the similarities and differences in the characters. Now, the reason this is important is because you're going to do a character analysis paper. Alright, remember with the similarities and differences, you're going to make an assertion about a character based on his or her words or actions. And these are higher level assertions, not, oh, the character is tall and the other character is short. Because that really isn't saying anything more than the obvious physical trait. We want to go beyond the surface and say one character is selfish, the other character is selfless. We must prove that one character is selfish. So here's where we dig into the text to find something the character said or did to show that he was selfish. On the other hand, we would look for something that the other character said or did that would make him or her selfless. So this is where we kind of have to prove the claim. After that, we can delve right into the first piece, which is called Hills Like White Elephants by Ernest Hemingway. The electronic version is here. I don't know that you'll find every single story on the internet, nor will I. The hard part with reading the story is that there really aren't any taglines here at the beginning to tell you who's talking. So every once in a while he'll tell you someone's talking. What should we drink? The girl asked. But then after that you have the man said, and then the man said, and then it kind of just, she said is the last line. Then what happens? You have to alternate from here, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, until you get who said what. It's a very confusing story, I will admit. However, what I did find was a short film. Now it's slow, but it's pretty good. And what you could do is watch the film and read along with the story and kind of see how it pieces itself together. Alright, after that you want to cover 2 more stories, How on page 169 and Sonny's Blues on page 91. and then do the literary analysis for both of them. Try to fill this in as thoroughly as you possibly can. When it comes to similarities and differences, you really only need one. If you can find one similarity and one difference and then prove it with a citation from the text, you're well on your way to writing the next paper. The homework that's going to be due is symbolism, which is 1%. I want you to pick a symbol from How or from Sonny's Blues and then explain it. Explain the deeper meaning behind it in just a little paragraph, just like 50 to 100 words, and throw it in the Dropbox.